Hi, it's Sean again, back in the studio, and we're going to do another Paris painting, this time on a very sunny day, different scene, big red awning, quite a few people in their cars, and some people out shopping. So yeah, here we go, let's get stuck into it. So, here we go, a Paris scene, although I can't see whether that's on or not, which is kind of weird. Ouch. There it is. It is on. Try and leave that going then. That was rather annoying. So I have that all set up nicely. Let's go to the edge and cut all this out. Right, so we've got a typical Parisian scene here, and we're just going to use these three mop brushes. We've got a number 8, a number 5, and a number 2. So that's all I'm going to use. I've used a 6B pencil to sketch in. This paper is Whatman paper. You can get a very similar thing now with Milton. They do one very similar. And here you can see my palette of limited colours. I'm going to try and limit even more. We're going to just come in with the first wash, and I'm just going to spray. Come in with a large brush. We're going in for a summer's day, is the kind of idea. We never know how it's going to turn out. So let's just see how this works out. Plenty of water. Just gonna pop in this sky. And as we come down, adding more water, just gonna come over these buildings here down to the horizon. Carefully go round the light. And these buildings there, and just let that blend and bleed. Can afford to go over the tops of these buildings there, because that's in shadow. So this side of the painting's in shadow, this side is partially in light, and that will do to start with, just there. I'm going to pick up some of these leftovers and pop in the road, and we've also got some zebra crossings as well. There's 2 there, 1 there and 1 here. Try and join these up. Join them out. So we've got some bit of blending, a bit of bleeding going on there. And over here we have quite a bit of warmth. This is just establishing the undertone of the painting, I guess, is the way to look at it. This is quite bright over here. This is yellow ochre. And I don't mind if this blends and bleeds in. We're going to get lost and found edges on all of this. So this is a brilliant sunlight over here, on this side of the painting. And our focal point is going to be down here. Big red awning you'll see in a second coming in. But we're just dropping this in, mixing up a kind of, just using these 3 or 4 basic colours to start with. This is quite warm, as we said, over this side. Mixing around the colours that are in the palette, hopefully you can see that. Lots of figures in there. There's a bit of a car here, a bit of a car there. So we'll just go slightly carefully. The windshield here, windshield on here. And then this side is quite glowy. quite a kind of glowy light coming in this side. So we'll just pop that in all the way up and off the page as an initial wash. Just there. The only thing I try and retain here is this street light. Just take that out slightly. Underneath we've still got lots of the glow, as they say, but here it's a bit cooler on this path coming in here. Cooler and quite light, so we'll take that out. And also, as this is our focal point, we need to design this to be light around here. This road actually is darker tonally, so I'm going to pop that in. I want to retain some of the light here though. Just let this bleed around. Kind of join things up a bit. There we go. That's working a bit better. That works better. And then we'll pop in this very red, this is Cad Red in here. Pop this in, still with the same brush, the number 8. This is an Artway brush. I've done a review on this brush. I don't want that mixture of colours. Very bright red. I might need to go brighter with this. I'll touch in some yellow with this red. Yeah, I want that redder. And there's going to be a touch of reflected kind of light in here as well. Bit of dry brush. I'll design just around these figures here. Okay, that's the first stage done, guys. Basically, we've got to let that dry. So this is dry enough, some of it in the background. It's still wet, but I've just topped up my palette and brought in this cadmium red, because this awning wasn't red enough. So there we go with that. Clean off the brush. I'm going to go for a smaller brush now and pop in here some ultramarine and a touch of neutral tint. That's about right. To pop in these distant buildings here. This will probably bleed and blend around as well. I don't mind that. There's no kind of details in this we need to worry about. This comes down to the horizon line. I just want to pop in a touch more blue just to mix this up, to push this back a bit. cobalt. Right, we're going in for a number 5 here. Squirrel mop brush. It's not actually a squirrel mop brush, it's a synthetic mop brush. You kind of get the idea. We want some lost and found edges in this as well. And we're just going to start to strengthen up some of these tones. With a smaller brush, this part of the painting is kind of in a lot of shadow as well. That's that car there, just watch the windscreen, want to keep that. So we'll just strengthen up tones a little bit. That's basically what we're doing here. This is yellow ochre. Popping that in. There's quite a bit of shadow in this bit here. And down here is quite a lot of darks. I can just pop these in because I want to get some lost and found edges on this. This is neutral tint. Just on the top of this car. It's quite dark around this car. Pop in some warmer darks there. It's burnt umber. And while I'm here, I can pop in some of these windows. So I want some of this to bleed in. Some of it will be dry, some will blend and bleed. Don't need to be too precise with this. Do there. This is not a vital part of the painting in terms of where you want the eye to go. So it's just kind of just building up the atmosphere really. Now this side of the painting, I need to get this on this left hand side just warmer. I need to warm that up a bit. This part is in shadow, this part is not. Touch of reflective light coming in here. Now the treatment of this, I'm going to warm it up, but I'm going to keep it very kind of loose. Not much detail in there. So some of the cool colour that we had, but coming forward slightly. All the way down. There's a sign there I need to retain, as well as one here. We also need to retain just here. This is coming down into this, and the sign is there. So we'll just go around that again. Now then, a lot of this is in sunlight over here, so I need to be careful. Here's quite bright. And then in shadow. So some of this in sunlight, some of it in shadow. Okay, that would do. It's a little cafe and there's a street little scene here and people sort of sitting down. I forgot to mention that. Let's go in for some of this umber. And kind of join up these figures here. People in here haven't teas and coffees and things like that. Pop in the head of this person here. This one, this guy, dressed in black, he's got a black suit on, pretty long coat, well timed to a lady. You never know with these things. Walking away there. This person we're going to pop in blue. Walking next to him, her. Standing there having a chat. Nice. Let's go for two cars here. Pop in the tyres. This one. Tyres of that one. Pop in the shadows underneath the car. Rather important. We'll just join up this with some bits. Oops, almost dipped into my coffee then. And the windshield as well. Just take that out slightly. There we go. Just make this car blue so it doesn't kind of, if we've got too much light over here, we do need specks of light, but if we've got too much light, the eye is going to keep going over there. And that screen is quite dark on this one, so I'll take that out. In there. Just tie up these. Bit of dry brush. Let's work on some of these figures next to the car. Quite a few of them. We'll pop their heads in a second. So the car here. More figures in the background. Quite a lot of figures in the background. See these guys walking along. Some people out and about. It's quite damp. The guy here, but we'll keep him quite blurry next to another guy. Yeah, these cycles kind of come across the front of the car. Ready to go across. Just pop a head in. That'll do. Remember, we've got lost and found that we need to have in here. Shadows. Some shadows off of these figures off the car. There we go. Wouldn't see them there. Big blue bus sign on this. We'll just, without detail, we'll pop this in. There we go. Don't want that one there. Let's take that out. This is all drying off. Just the back of my finger. So now that's clean. In a little bit of sharpness here to mix up with the blurredness, if that's a word. And then we need to mix up a bit of a grey. Rooftops. And I want this to blend and bleed. This is perfect. You're going to get some sharpness, some blurs, and that's what we want. Put these chimneys and bits and bobs out here. Some dry brush of Gren. Again on these balconies and bits, but we don't want this to be too sharp here, and we don't want it to compete with where the eye is going to go down here. It's just suggesting all of them comes up here, goes around this part, and then goes off down here. Nice little brush this for finer details. Pop that in here. Just looking for some of these highlights and darks. Buildings, just mixing it up a little bit, darker patches. Almost dipped into my coffee again there. This is almost dry. It's quite dry again. On the edges here. Use my finger to just create a few textures. A bit darker on a couple parts. Not much. There we go. That'll do it. Or here, might as well pop in this lamp. It's not dry enough to pop in the lamp here. That is though. Oh, I said it was. Oh, that's amazing that that sky is still wet there. That is weird. That has been still damp there. Wow, I'm amazed. Okay, we're getting there. Just pick up a couple of highlights on there. Just pop in a few of these. Some bits in here as well. blurry. So we've got a few bits up here. It's quite dark in here as well. This is just umber and neutral tint that we've got going on in here. Just a touch of dry brush in here. That's nice. Figure in darker. This side a bit darker. Carrying a bag. One smaller brush for a bag. I'll have a red bag. Wow, it looks like a shopping trolley. Too big for a bag. That'll do. I love happy accidents like that. Of a shopping trolley. Put a bit of shadow under the shopping trolley as well. There we go. Okay. Lots of people in here eating and chatting, and keep this quite indistinct. Now then, just a redder part of this awning. It's got a few of these. Other than that, pop in the windows over here. Keep this quite dry brush. All kinds of bits going up here. Quite architectural, and the angle on this is nice. Let's pop in the balconies. Okay, we're almost done there. Touch a dry brush stroke here. We're just going to pop in the shadows now. I'm kind of happy that this is kind of done. Put in these posts. important to the painting. Creating that procession. Shadows. Gonna mix up my famous shadow colour. There we go. So ultramarine blue. Touch of cad. No cad. Crimson. Ultramarine and crimson. Just need to make sure I got a lot of this. Some big spaces to cover here. So I'm just adding a lot of water. Just emptying the brush out. With more water. Now all of this is in shadow on this side. Except for that part there, just dry, it's not ready. Right, we will return for the shadows, part 3. So we've come to the shadow part of the painting, getting near the end of the painting. So time to put in the shadows. A little bit of close watching. And get these in. Kind of only get one go with shadows. You don't want to be fiddling around because otherwise you'll end up just getting the paint blurring and blending into other things. You don't really want that. Otherwise you just lose everything, which would not be good. Let's just get that in quick. That's that side. Here was in shadow. Down here. Right the way down to here. Stop that doing that. We've got the street lamp to do, so that is definitely dry now. It's been ages, so we'll pop that in. That's a bit damp there, so we won't worry too much with that for the moment. We'll bring in that line when that's dry. Couple of little bits up there. I still want this figure to be darker. I know that I think the eye does go here, but I really need to force the eye here. Look at this darkest dark here. I need to really clean the brush up now for these highlights. This is just a white highlight watercolour paint. I just need to pop in these. Quite a bit of paint on here. And maybe on some of these little figures here. But this is quite wet, so we have to be extra careful, I guess. popping in some of the highlights in there. Small suggestion, guys. Just want us to be a bit stronger. That's better. That's better. There we go. Just put a few more to tie this all up. A few highlights in there. Gotta sort out this lamp. Which we'll do, but I've got to wait for this to dry now to finally finish it off. So we keep saying it's finished. We've got the street lamp to do. So that is definitely dry now, it's been ages. So we'll pop that in. It's a bit damp there, so we won't worry too much with that for the moment. We'll bring in that line when that's dry. A couple of little bits up there. I still want this figure to be darker. I know that I think the eye does go here, but I really need to force the eye here. Look at this darkest dark here. I need to really clean the brush up now for these highlights. So it's just a white highlight watercolour paint. Just need to pop in these. Quite a bit of paint on here. And maybe on some of these little figures here. But this is quite wet, so we have to be extra careful, I guess. Popping in some of the highlights in there. Small suggestion, guys. Just want us to be a bit stronger. That's better. That's better. There we go. Just put a few more to tie this all up. A few highlights in there. Got to sort out this lamp. Which we'll do, but I've got to wait for this to dry now to finally finish it off. So a couple of finishing touches and we're kind of done. Just pop that in there. A I've just strengthened up here. I've put a purple shadow in here, but I think I'm happy with this. Let's get to the stage where you think, I'm about to fiddle. Do I really need to do that? So hopefully guys you enjoyed that. You can see the painting there in the background, the finished painting of Paris on a sunny day. And yeah, remember to like, to subscribe and all that jazz, and just get out there and paint, or even in your studio. But today was another windy day, so I was inside. But get out as much as you can. Bye bye, take care, till the next one.